Well, again, in all honesty, and it's not a sales pitch, it sells itself. If you are a fragrance person, and once you see it and smell it, it sells itself. It really does. It's not something I have to go door to door. I pretty much put it out there on Facebook, or most of the time, people that enter my house. I have 5 dogs. I got 5 Shih Tzus. They
Wow.
are all house dogs. They stay in the house. And again, I keep a clean house. I work to keep a clean house. But I've had so many people go, don't take this wrong, but your house doesn't smell like dogs. And I'll go, it's my emoji. And that's what sold me on the emoji, is that it absorbs odor. It's a wooden cork like fragrance pod that's been soaked in a fragrance. But
Uh-huh.
like if you cook cabbage, and usually you can smell cabbage in your house a day or two,
Yeah.
you're not going to smell it the next morning. The the biggest thing was I did chitlins the first time. And the next day, one of the grandkids came and said, Granny, I didn't even smell them. That emoji thing must be working. So it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Like I said, and then once one person has it, they'll tell somebody else about it. And basically, all I have to do is get on the computer and order it. It comes right to my door. And most people pick them up or have them come to their house. So it doesn't take a lot of work,
Girl,
but
I'm an order today. You
it's a
just sold me.
quality product, and it really does. The fragrance pods. The other thing is, I used to spend hundreds of dollars every month on candles because I love my house to smell good. Yeah, Bath and Body Work. Oh, I'd go and buy hundreds. And most of them will smell good for about 24 hours, maybe 48. They cost about $30 for those big jars. And the
Yeah.
next day, if you burn them, I just burn mine all night long, even though it's dangerous, what they say. But the next day, all you got is an empty jar. And it didn't smell. I had all those plug in the wall things. The emoji pods are like $6.50, and minimum, they're going to last you 10 days that you'll smell them. The fragrances are medium, light, and strong. If it's a strong fragrance, like we have our major seller is sweet lemon. And some people like fragrances that are fruity, some like, rustic, but it's one of my favorites, but it's a national favorite. When I have that in, when I get to my front door, I can smell it before I open the door.
Wow. So it's a
So
plug-in? It's a plug-in, you said?
the unit plugs in, but once it's charged, you can unplug it and move it around, and you
Girl,
don't
quit
have to
it.
recharge it for 3 days.
Quit it. I'm going, when we get done, text me or something. I might want that because I just thought that was something. I knew you was what, but I didn't know all that.
Yeah, and
Shut
people think
up.
it's a candle. It's not. It's just like a wooden pod that sits inside this machine, and it has a little fan that spreads the, you know, fragrance around. If
Mm-hmm.
you pick a strong fragrance, you're going to smell it around about 800 feet from the front room to the back room. But it
Wow.
takes about 4 hours to charge it. And then, like I said, if you could go for the weekend, take it on Friday, and it's still going to be running Monday morning if you run it round the clock. You can
Wow.
also, you can push the button twice, and it'll run for 60 minutes and cut off 60 minutes. 60 minutes on, 60 minutes off. Sometimes if the fragrance is too strong, I tell people hit that button a second time and it'll cut on and off, and it won't be as strong.
Oh, that's
So
good
it really
stuff.
is a quality product, and it's fun. I enjoyed it, but that's what sold me. I purchased it because my niece was selling it, just because I was supporting her, and
Yeah.
didn't really give it much thought until I fried fish one day. And the next morning I came down the steps and I thought, I don't smell fish. Wait a minute, this thing must really work. So
Wow. Yes,
that's kind of how I
ma'am.
got into
I
that.
will definitely. So I'll find out how to pay for it since I'm not real savvy, with how to send you. Well, anyway, we'll figure that out.
Yes.
And then people can contact you because that's something you could just haul off and take it with you on vacation and be
Yes,
smelling good, or
when I
haul
go
off and
to on vacation in my hotel rooms, when I'm doing travel nursing, I always had one in my room. A couple of times the maid would leave me a note like, "What is this? The room smells good."
yes, girl, yes, ma'am. Now let me ask you this. You be serious about anything you're serious about. I've noticed that through the years because I watched you and at Tiff's wedding, how everything was on point. You was serious. You be watching everybody. You don't, you a mother hen. Girl, I've been sitting quiet, but I
Micromanage. That's what my kids say.
but you've done a good job and you're doing a good job, so don't stop. So, but you're serious about what you, girl, how you get so serious about Muhammad Ali? I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. A
I
fan.
don't know either. I just remember when I was about 11 or 12, the first time I saw him on TV. First of all, I thought he was gorgeous, but I was really too little for that to enter into it. It was something about him that just mesmerized me. And I just kept following him. And then it got to be almost like a destiny. It was like, if he was in the area, I would somehow be there, even when I didn't know it. It's like once came to Louisville, and Tiffany from her job, they were doing something to honor him. I think it was when his movie came out, and he was actually going to be at the theater. And she got me tickets, but there were 5 different theaters showing it. She said, Mama, I don't know which theater. He's going to be in one of them, but you'll get to see the movie before anybody else. Well, I'm just happy to get to see the movie. I am telling you, when I get there, where was my ticket? In the same theater that Ali and his wife were in. And as if that was not enough, you had to sit in a certain place. I took my seat, and the longer I sat there and the room filled up, but the 3 seats right in front of me were empty. And I kept thinking, could this be? And absolutely, before that movie started, in they ushered Muhammad Ali, his wife, and some other person directly in front of me is where he sat. And it's just been that way. I'd be places. That's how I got to meet him. And he came to my house. I'm just minding my own business. Remember when we used to have a Circuit City?
Uh-huh.
And I saw his wife in there. Of course, I knew who she was because I stalked her husband. And I kind of glanced at her a couple of times, and she said, do I know you? And I was like, probably not, but I stalked your husband, so you've probably seen me. She was very friendly, and she said, would you like for me to bring him over? It's Father's Day, Charlene. Father's Day. And of course, that's where I looked, and I was like, yeah, she said, give me your address. I'll bring him over to your house so you can meet him. Because, I'm like, oh, I just love him. And my firstborn son, before I ever had a son, when I got married, the firstborn son's middle name is going to be Ali. Not debatable. That's his name's Ali, and Daniel's name is Daniel Ali. And sure enough, she brought him over. Father's Day. He stayed for about 2.5 hours. He did magic tricks for the kids. It was just unreal, the things. And the older I got and the more I knew about him, and to this day, I'm convinced he's some kind of prophet because of the things he did beyond and outside the boxing ring.
Yes.
And how he changed people's lives sometimes just being in his presence. And it's not just me, other people, when you're in his presence, you just got chills. Even once he got sick and he couldn't speak a word, there was just something about him. And on up until he died, who would have thought that I would meet and become friends with the funeral director who had already been indoctrinated to handle his service. And when I first met Mr. Porter, of course, if you enter my house, it's no doubt that Muhammad Ali is my favorite. Every, Quinn, who is my life, she told me not too long ago, Granny, you got some explaining to do. And I was like, what? She said, there's 15 pictures of me in here and 21 of Muhammad Ali. But anyway, Mr. Porter was like, well, if I'm still alive when he passes, I'll be doing his service. And somehow I'm going to get you in that processional. You might have to be my nurse, my wife, but I'll get you in there. And sure enough, he did. So I got to ride in the processional. I was in the car right behind Will Smith. And that is a day I will never forget.
Yvette, that's deep. All that's deep. Your whole life is deep, more than you would even know. When you was like, she wants to talk to me, I'm like, how can I not? Because it's powerful to hear the vision and what God gave you a desire as a little girl, and he continues to fulfill it. Girl, won't he do it?
Absolutely.
Won't he do it? Don't mess around and start seeing how he's working in your life. But let me ask you this before we go to the last, but this is next to the last. Girl, just your legacy. You're living it. But if you could articulate a little bit of your legacy that you want to leave for future generations that may not get to know you, but this recording, and I'm loving it because Healthy Heart started as me wanting to leave memories for the kids because, girl, our parents and forefathers get real smart after we're dead. And I thought, well, I'm gonna put it on the YouTube.
Absolutely.
But here we are in our third season. So people that might not get to meet you, they'll know how to go back and find this. What legacy, even the people you haven't even seen be born yet, what legacy would you like them to know about you, what you want to be remembered as?
Well, I would, and it may sound corny, but it comes from the heart, just love.
You know, the Bible say, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And I just ask him to create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Now, I'm not no preacher or anything, but it's all about purifying your body, keeping your heart clean, keeping your heart pure. Thank you, God, for keeping a clean heart in me. I ask for your blessing. Amen.